Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. I realized only after the system awoke, I discovered that my flower vase wife was secretly a master of disguises. I learned the gang leader who disfigured me during a kidnapping was him. I found out the nation's richest man who bankrupted my family was him. I knew the miraculous cure my mother begged for until her death was in his hands. I understood it was still him while I was merely a pawn in his game of tug-of-war with the true heir. I decided before leaving this world. I demanded the system. I wanted the entire internet to expose all of Lee Ryan's hidden identities. I insisted on revealing his criminal evidence. I vowed to make him taste. I wanted him to feel the torment of being played like a fool. I clutched the cold urn of ashes. I felt my heart grow numb, devoid of all feeling. I sensed her soft arms encircle my waist. Fang Yuan told me to cry if I needed to. She promised she would stay by my side. I heard Lee Ryan's voice, soft and gentle. I thought she seemed like a tender, caring wife. I recalled sadly that he had promised to perform my mother's brain tumor surgery. I remembered he backed out the day before the operation. I knew he was the one who let my mother die by dragging it out. I silently set down the urn. I stood before my father's tombstone on the left. I recalled how after the fan group's funding chain collapsed, one Lee Ryan, the wealthiest man, dealt the fatal blow. I understood he had crushed the fan group. I remembered my father died of a cerebral hemorrhage overwhelmed by rage. I heard the system address me as Ho. I learned Lee Ryan's affection meter was nearly full. I was asked if I was sure about leaving this world. I felt only irony in response. I reflected that after transmigrating into this world, I knew the system had gone into hibernation. I acknowledged that though an adopted son, I had lived with the Fang family for over 20 years. I realized Lee Ryan knew I was the Fang couple's adopted son. I understood he still had the heart to destroy them despite knowing. I questioned how he could possibly love me. I replied with unwavering certainty. I sensed the system's regret. I was informed the countdown to leave this world had begun, 3 days remaining. I winced as the sound of applause pierced my ears. I heard Fang Yu dressed garishly mock that my death was well-deserved. I listened as he declared today a day worth celebrating. I felt rage ignite within me instantly. I saw you wearing a floral shirt and shorts. I questioned what it meant to attend my mother's funeral like that. I demanded to know his intentions. I heard Fang Yu sneer. I felt him rip off my mask. I saw in her eyes. I glimpsed the reflection of the crisscrossing scars on my face. I stared at scars hideously ugly. I heard her taunt that an ugly monster like me shouldn't embarrass myself here. I listened as she said it would keep him from resting in peace. I felt the pain intensify. I was haunted again by the shadow of flesh being sliced open. I noticed my hands trembling uncontrollably. I clenched my fists tightly. I refused to show even a hint of weakness. I saw Lee Ryan light a cigarette. I felt him cradle my face, addressing me as Fang Yuan. I heard him say in my heart I was always the most handsome. I noticed his gaze was so tender. I contrasted it with the time he kidnapped me. I remembered his cold, cruel demeanor, so different from now. I shoved him away, shouting not to touch me. I saw Lee Ryan freeze in place. I heard him sneer that a thief like me who stole another's place deserved disfigurement. I bit down hard on my teeth. I recalled that Fang Yu's disappearance was an accident. I remembered my parents never stopped searching for him, adopting me. I thought of how I was merely pitied, abandoned by others. I acknowledged their moment of compassion. I noted that after finding Fang Yu, I saw them pour all their love into making up for lost time. I chose to move out of the Fang family. I didn't want to burden my parents. I realized Fang Yu was relentless. I understood the Fang family's bankruptcy stemmed from his single remark to Lee Ryan. I recalled him saying he hated the Fang family. I heard him order Lee Ryan to destroy them. I remembered it was also his word to Lee Ryan. I heard him claim that old woman caused him years of suffering. I recalled him forbidding Lee Ryan from saving her. I knew that left my mother waiting for a surgery that never came. I realized even my kidnapping by Lee Ryan was at his instigation. I felt a soft hand rest on my tightly clenched fist. I saw Lee Ryan's gentle expression addressing me as Fang Yuan. I heard her say no matter how I was. I listened as she declared she would always love me. I heard her suggest we go home. I pressed my lips tightly together. I recalled the system mentioning. I learned Fang Yu originally planned to break my limbs. I knew he intended to ruin me completely. I discovered Lee Ryan intervened. I found out he chose to disfigure my face instead. I questioned if that could be called love. I heard Fang Yu say he needed to talk to Lee Ryan and asked him to come. I saw with just one sentence Lee Ryan let go of my hand. I was told by Fang Yuan to go home first. I heard him say head talk with Fang Yu. I watched their figures quickly disappear from my sight. I gave a self-mocking smile. I lowered my gaze and asked the system to make me invisible and follow them. I marveled at the pure gold gates of the estate, extravagantly luxurious. I, accustomed to the opulence of high society, was still stunned. I was told by the system addressing me as host. I learned this estate was a gift from Lee Ryan to Fang Yu last year. I discovered it was worth 600 million. I felt a daze come over me. I knew everyone in high society was aware. I understood the Lee family's reclaimed daughter was seen as a useless country girl. I recalled that if not for the Lee family's debt to the Fang family, I wouldn't have married Lee Ryan. I reflected on the twist of fate. I realized she was my target to conquer. I remembered last year on my birthday. I saw her blushing hand me a bouquet of flowers addressing me as Fang Yuan. I heard her say she bought it with a month's worth of wages. I listened as she hoped I wouldn't mind. I noted the 3,000 yuan flowers. I compared them to the other lavish gifts, insignificant in contrast. I decided not wanting to disappoint her sincerity. I, a grown man, held that bouquet of roses. I carried it until the birthday banquet ended. I observed that any rare flower or plant in this estate I realized was priced in the tens of thousands. I saw those flowers made her bouquet seem like a joke. I entered the villa expressionlessly. I witnessed Fang Yu pressing Lee Ryan onto the sofa, kissing her. I saw Fang Yu grip the back of Lee Ryan's head. I heard him panting call her Ryan. I listened as he urged her to divorce and marry him. I heard the system addressing me as host. I was asked if I thought Lee Ryan would agree. I gave a bitter smile. I knew the answer was obvious. I recalled they grew up together in an orphanage. I remembered over the years. One newly Ryan had confessed to Fang Yu 9 times openly and subtly. I thought now she finally saw the light after perseverance. I wondered how she could refuse. I was surprised. I saw Lee Ryan hesitate. I noticed his face still flushed with emotion. I heard Fang Yu urge her to wait a bit. I listened as she said I had just lost my family. I heard her worrying it would hit me too hard. I felt my heart stop for a moment. I saw Fang Yu lower his head, their noses touching, calling her Ryan. I heard him say he'd give her one chance. I listened as he threatened to leave if she didn't agree. I learned he'd marry by Ningbing. I nearly forgot. I knew Lee Ryan. I discovered he had opened a management company just for Fang. I understood he paved the way for him. I learned it propelled him to top-tier celebrity status. I recalled by Ningming. I knew she was the boss of a rival company. I understood she was Fang Yu's obsessive fan. I saw Lee Ryan immediately wrap her arms around Fang Yu's neck. I watched her kiss him without hesitation. I heard her forbid him from marrying another woman. I saw Fang Yu linger on her lips. I heard him tell her then and there. I listened as he demanded she call me. I heard him say to divorce tomorrow. I saw Lee Ryan reluctantly comply. I watched her get up to make the call. I silently set my phone to mute. I observed Lee Ryan listening to the unanswered tone. I saw her frown and fiddle with her phone. I watched her stand abruptly, alarmed. I heard her say I was in the villa. I furrowed my brow. I wondered if she could see me. I saw Fang Yu frown to calling her Ryan. I heard him ask how she knew my location. I saw Lee Ryan's grave expression. I learned she had installed a tracking program on my phone to monitor me. I checked my phone with the system's help. I found a suspicious program. I discovered it was installed the day we married. I was reminded by the system addressing me as host. I learned Lee Ryan was a top-tier hacker. I confirmed the program was removed. I felt a cold wind pierce my hollow heart. I heard her question why the tracking had stopped. I saw unprecedented panic on Lee Ryan's face. I heard Fang Yu say head check on me at home. I watched him leave hurriedly. I saw her stumble in high heels, nearly falling. I heard Fang Yu shout after her, calling her Ryan. I listened as he reminded her of her promise to divorce. I took a deep breath and asked the system to send me home. I reflected that after the Fang family's bankruptcy, I knew our so-called home, I realized, was just a cramped 50 square meter apartment. I saw Lee Ryan rush in, flustered, calling my name. I noticed her relax upon seeing me quietly on the sofa. I watched her turn on the light, asking why I didn't. I heard her say she thought I wasn't home. I listened as she said I didn't answer her calls. I heard her express worrying for me. I gave a faint smile, explaining we were bankrupt. I said I was saving on electricity. I mentioned that on the way back from the cemetery, I explained my phone fell into a sewer and was likely broken. I saw Lee Ryan's tense body finally relax. I felt her sit beside me. I sensed her lean into my arms, saying it was okay. I heard her suggest we buy a new phone tomorrow. I changed the subject, asking why she called. I noticed Lee Ryan's body stiffen again, addressing me as Fang Yuan. I heard her propose we divorce tomorrow. I agreed simply. I saw her sit up, her eyes full of surprise. I heard her voice falter, asking why I didn't question it. I suddenly wanted to hear. I wondered what lie she'd spin this time. I obliged and asked why. I saw Lee Ryan hesitate. I heard her stammer that I knew. I listened as she said Mother always felt she owed Fang Yu. I heard her claim he entrusted her to form a family with Fang Yu. I thought this was her worst acting yet. I noticed her eyes darting nervously. I saw sweat bead on her forehead. I chose not to call her out. I acknowledged her explanation. I saw Lee Ryan open her mouth, wanting to say more. I felt I'd had enough. I smelled Fang Yu's cologne clinging to her. I wondered how she could like that greasy pretty boy. I asked if there was anything else. I saw Lee Ryan's lips tremble. I watched her lower her head, saying she had something to do. I heard her say she wouldn't stay tonight. I wasn't surprised. I reflected that since the Fang family's bankruptcy, I knew she spent every night with Fang Yu. I had grown used to spending cold nights alone. I noted the divorce was finalized quickly the next day. I stepped out of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I saw Lee Ryan's eyes full of guilt. I heard her apologize, addressing me as Fang Yuan. I listened as she offered help if I ever needed it. I nodded perfunctorily, calling her Ryan. I heard Fang Yu urge her to get married. I saw Fang Yu intimately wrap his arm around Lee Ryan. I noticed Lee Ryan glance at my expression. I smiled and reminded her. I pointed out she hadn't removed our wedding ring. I saw Lee Ryan freeze. I watched Fang Yu smirk provocatively. I saw him remove Lee Ryan's ring. I watched him toss it into the trash. I heard him say trash should have been thrown out sooner. I ignored his taunt. I turned and walked away. I was reminded by the system on the way home. I learned Fang Yu was displeased with my indifference. I heard he told Lee Ryan to kidnap and teach me a lesson again. I gave a soft laugh. I realized I had nothing left to lose. I felt a familiar blunt force at the back of my head. I awoke again. I found myself in the cemetery. I felt my body weak. I suspected I'd been drugged again. I sensed a familiar venomous cold presence behind me. I heard him address me as Mr. Fang, saying we meet again. I noticed he wore a mask. I realized he used a voice changer. I knew it was Lee Ryan. I marveled that the delicate flower vase of daily life I discovered was the notorious gang leader. I felt the cold blade press against my neck. I didn't feel the same heart-pounding fear as last time. I sneered, recalling the disfigurement. I asked if this time he'd kill me. I showed no fear of death, surprising Lee Ryan. I saw him pause briefly. I heard him sneer, addressing me as Mr. Fang, saying I'd crossed the wrong person. I was told he brought me here. I learned it was to make me witness a spectacle. I felt him drag me to my mother's grave. I watched him pick up the urn. I felt my pupils constrict, demanding what he intended. I heard him say he'd scatter my parents' ashes. I felt as if struck by lightning. I struggled with all my might to break free. I found I had no strength. I heard him mock that I'd angered someone I shouldn't have. I listened as he said he invited me to watch a good show. I saw him lift the urn. I felt my eyes burn with rage. I demanded what he wanted to do. I heard him casually say head scatter my parents' ashes. I felt like a thunderbolt had struck me. I fought desperately to free myself. I realized I was powerless. I thought their intimacy with Fang Yu didn't matter. I had long given up hope. I knew family was the last soft spot in my heart. I roared in desperation. I pleaded he could torment me however he wanted. I begged him not to touch their ashes. I saw Lee Ryan pause. I watched him open the urn anyway. I saw the wind scatter the ashes. I felt my eyes split with anguish. Shouting Lee Ryan's name, I recalled how good my parents were to him. I demanded if he had any conscience left. I watched Lee Ryan's hand tremble slightly as he held the urn. I heard him stammer that I had mistaken him for someone else. I decided to go all in, ready to break everything. I told him to stop pretending. I accused him of personally ruining my face. I saw his hand shake. I watched the urn topple to the ground. I gritted my teeth, cursing Lee Ryan. I called him a vile person. I saw Lee Ryan as if waking from a dream, hurriedly crouched down. I watched him try to gather the scattered ashes. I noticed a gust of wind blow through. I saw him grasp at nothing. I observed his hand freeze in midair. I sensed his bewildered helplessness. I finally couldn't hold back. I felt a tear fall from my eye. I knew a man's tears don't come lightly. I realized I had reached the depths of sorrow. I saw Lee Ryan panic. I felt him clumsily embrace me, calling me Fang Yuan. I heard him apologize through the voice changer. I listened to his eerie, terrifying tone offering comfort. I found it utterly absurd. I demanded he kill me. I said my life meant nothing to him. I compared it to an ant by the roadside. I felt my eyes fill with lifeless desolation. I heard Lee Ryan's voice tremble. I listened as he urged me not to say foolish things, calling me Fang Yuan. I heard him claim he never intended to take my life. I learned he had reasons for scarring my face last time. I heard him swear to himself. I listened as he vowed to spend his life making it up to me. I struggled to reach for the knife on the ground. I saw Lee Ryan knock the knife away. I watched him remove his mask. I felt him cradle my face. I noticed his fingers trembling uncontrollably. I heard him promise I wouldn't die. I listened as he said even if I tried to take my own life. I heard him vow to save me. I let out a mocking laugh. I asked why he didn't save my mother. I saw Lee Ryan's face turn deathly pale. I noticed his lips quiver. I heard him ask if I knew everything. I sarcastically thanked him, calling him Fang Yuan. I mocked that if I had known he was the richest man. I said I'd never have agreed to divorce even in death. I saw Fang Yu approach, his leather shoes clicking. I watched him kick over my father's urn. I felt overwhelming grief and rage. I sensed them grip my heart tightly. I could barely breathe. I saw Fang Yu plant an intimate kiss on Lee Ryan's face. I heard him remind Lee Ryan their wedding was in 2 days. I listened as he invited me to witness it. I noted their wedding was in 2 days. I realized Lee Ryan couldn't wait a moment longer. I laughed loudly. I mocked Lee Ryan openly. I asked if it was fun to toy with me under false identities. I questioned if watching me punish those who mocked him. I asked if it was amusing to see me defend him against those calling him a useless flower vase. I wondered if it was particularly funny. I said if he had any lingering affection. I begged him to give me a quick in. I saw Lee Ryan's gaze on my face flicker with reluctance. I watched him lean into Fang Yu's embrace. I noticed him look at me coldly. I heard him say, addressing me as Fang Yuan, that to prevent my suicide, I learned he'd have people guard me until the wedding ended. I realized he called it protection. I knew it was surveillance. I understood he couldn't stop the system. I learned Lee Ryan had prepared for this wedding for 10 years. I noticed even Fang Yu's suit. I saw it was tailored long in advance. I marveled at its extravagance. I recalled when he married me. I knew it was only to help Fang Yu take revenge on the Fang family. I remembered our wedding was rushed and sloppy. I sat in the front row. I saw the bodyguards arranged by Lee Ryan flanking me. I felt them watching me intently. I knew they feared I'd cause trouble. I noticed Lee Ryan didn't glance at me. I calmly watched Fang Yu take his hand. I saw him kneel on one knee. I watched him kiss the back of his hand. I thought he must be thrilled to finally marry his true love. I noticed even his vows to Fang Yu. I saw they were far more affectionate than those he made to me. I watched as they reached the ring exchange. I saw the massive diamond refract dazzling light. I observed Ryan place the ring on Fang Yu's finger. I noticed him glance at me again. I heard the system's voice. I was told as host I was about to leave this world. I learned as per my request. I knew all of Ryan's hidden identities. I heard his identities and kidnapping evidence were posted online. I saw Fang Yu today in a pure white suit. I thought he looked as dashing as a fairytale prince. I sensed Ryan's heart racing uncontrollably. I knew he had waited too long for this moment. I saw him hold his breath. I watched him carefully place the ring on Fang Yu's finger. I noticed halfway through in his peripheral vision, I saw myself suddenly collapse. I fell onto the female bodyguard to my left. I heard a buzz in my head. I sensed an inexplicable rage consume his reason. I heard him shout my name, Fang Yuan. I listened as he demanded what I meant by collapsing onto another woman. I heard him accuse me of causing trouble at the wedding. I saw him stride off the stage. I noticed he didn't even realize the ring fell. I heard him yell at the female bodyguard to get away. I saw her terrified sweat pouring as she stood. I observed Ryan's dark expression. I felt him reach out to hold my limp body. I sensed he was about to expose my profane feint. I felt his hand check me. I realized he found no breath in me. I saw Ryan's heart skip a beat. I heard Fang Yu call him Ryan, noting all the guests watching. I listened as he reminded him he hadn't finished putting on the ring. I saw Fang Yu's voice pull him back. I noticed Ryan frown. I realized he recalled me collapsing onto the female bodyguard. I sensed jealousy surge in his chest, startling him. I felt him instinctively let go. I collapsed onto the chair, eyes still closed. I saw Ryan suddenly panic. I heard him wonder if I was truly gone, calling me Ryan and Fang Yuan. I listened as Fang Yu said I was just tired and resting. I heard him urge Ryan not to disturb me. I saw Fang Yu press him again. I watched Ryan finally move. I saw him return to the stage. I noticed him try to steady his chaotic breathing. I heard Fang Yu laugh and tease, calling me Fang Yuan. I listened as he mocked my deep sleep. I heard him say even this didn't wake me. I heard him compare me to a dead pig. I knew hearing Fang Yu liken me to a dead pig. I sensed Ryan's inexplicable displeasure. I saw him force a stiff smile. I watched him take the ring the efficient retrieved. I heard him say I never slept so deeply. I listened as he insisted I was pretending. I heard him claim I collapsed onto the female bodyguard on purpose. I realized he thought I was trying to make him jealous. I sensed his realization that I cared about him. I felt a secret joy rise in Ryan's heart, calling me Ryan. I heard Fang Yu urge him to put on the ring. I saw facing the love he pursued for years. I watched Ryan slowly. I saw him slide the ring onto Fang Yu's finger. I observed him embrace Fang Yu in a passionate kiss. I heard applause erupt. I knew he swore in his heart even marrying Fang Yu. I learned had ensure my safety for the rest of my life. I saw after the applause. I noticed Ryan look at my seat. I remained slumped unconscious. I saw Ryan holding Fang Yu's hand approach me, calling me Fang Yuan. I heard him tell me to stop acting, saying he married Fang Yu. I listened as he called me his brother. I heard him promise to care for me like my parents would. I heard him vow I wouldn't be alone for the rest of my life. I showed no response. I saw Ryan frown. I felt him grab my wrist, telling me to stop pretending. I heard him mention my pulse. I sensed his words cut off. I knew it was because my pulse had stopped. I saw Ryan check my pulse repeatedly in disbelief. I noticed he still felt nothing. I saw him finally panic. I watched him shove Fang Yu's hand away and hold me, shouting for an ambulance. I was rushed to the hospital. I saw Ryan pacing frantically outside. I knew he cursed himself for being a neurosurgeon. I sensed he wished he could operate himself. I felt his deep regret. I realized he thought the shocks I'd endured were too much. I knew he believed that's why I went into shock. I heard him swear in his heart. I learned he vowed to stay by my side if I woke. I knew he wanted to make up for the warmth I lacked, calling me Ryan. I heard Fang Yu remind him it was their wedding day. I listened as he angrily asked what it meant to abandon him. I saw Fang Yu storm in still in his wedding attire. I noticed Lee Ryan's irritation. I sensed for the first time he found Fang Yu unreasonable. I heard him say I was in shock. I listened as he asked if Fang Yu had any compassion. I saw Fang Yu retort angrily that he lacked compassion. I heard him say Lee Ryan watched me kneel outside the car. I listened as he recalled me begging to save my mother. I heard him say Lee Ryan showed no compassion then. I saw Lee Ryan's temper flare. I heard him ask who was in the passenger seat kissing him, stopping him from getting out. I listened as he asked if it wasn't Fang Yu. I heard him say that was Fang Yu's biological mother. I listened as he called Fang Yu heartless. I saw Fang Yu's face fill with disbelief, asking if he was heartless. I heard him remind Lee Ryan who bankrupted the Fang family. I listened as he accused Lee Ryan of disfiguring me. I heard him say Lee Ryan deceived me with false identities, causing me pain. I listened as he called Lee Ryan more heartless than him. I saw Lee Ryan know he was in the wrong. I noticed him stiffen his resolve. I heard him say he did those things for Fang Yu. I saw the emergency room doors open during their argument. I watched Lee Ryan rush forward asking about my condition. I heard the doctor shake his head apologizing that they tried their best. I listened as he told us to prepare for the worst. I saw Lee Ryan struck as if by lightning. I heard Fang Yu sneer that I was dead. I listened as he said it was fitting for our family to reunite in the afterlife. I heard a slap as Fang Yu clutched his face. I saw him look in disbelief at Lee Ryan, eyes bloodshot. I heard Lee Ryan accuse him of causing my death. I listened as he called Fang Yu cruel for mocking. I heard Fang Yu ask if Lee Ryan was mad. I listened as he questioned if Lee Ryan had fallen for me. I saw Lee Ryan freeze, questioning if he loved me. I heard him wonder how he could love me. I listened as he insisted he loved Fang Yu. I saw the red handprint on Fang Yu's face. I noticed Lee Ryan at a loss. I heard him apologize to Fang Yu. I listened as he said he was just agitated. I heard him claim he always loved Fang Yu. I listened as he said he only felt guilt toward me. I knew it was just guilt. I saw Lee Ryan gently caress Fang Yu's cheek. I watched him warn himself in his heart. I saw Fang Yu's anger subside. I watched him pull out his phone saying head call his assistant. I heard him say head handle my affairs. I saw him freeze as he lit up the screen calling Ryan. I heard him urge Lee Ryan to look at a notification. I saw Lee Ryan lean in. I noticed the headline sting his eyes, the richest man. I saw it call him a gang leader. I read it mention a medical genius. I saw it expose. I read the title about the venomous Lee Ryan's hidden identities and crimes. I felt his mind explode. I saw him open the top trending post. I noticed it detailed all his hidden identities. I saw it list his criminal evidence. I knew as the richest man. I learned he engaged in monopolies. I discovered he maliciously suppressed and acquired companies. I knew as a gang leader. I learned he kidnapped and killed. I discovered he smuggled and committed crimes. I saw him do every evil deed as a doctor. I learned he lacked medical ethics. I discovered he covered up surgical accidents. I knew he let people die without helping. I saw the comments section filled with curses. I read they knew he was the Fang family's daughter-in-law. I saw them say he cussed the Fang family's ruin. I read they called him disgusting. I saw them pity me. I read they said I was terribly deceived by such a vicious woman. I saw them call him a societal poison. I read they demanded harsh punishment. I saw them say his power shouldn't spare him. I read suggestions for the death penalty. I sensed rage surge through him. I saw it cloud Lee Ryan's mind. I heard him call his secretary demanding how they handled it. I listened as he ordered the trending post removed. I heard the secretary's trembling voice call him Mr. Liu. I learned they tried but couldn't remove it. I heard him call them useless. I saw Lee Ryan hang up angrily. I watched him try to handle it himself. I saw him realize he couldn't trace the poster's information. I noticed he refused to believe it. I saw him try to delete the post. I watched him fail to remove it. I saw Lee Ryan sweat profusely in panic. I sensed he couldn't fathom who had such power. I knew someone had exposed him completely. I saw before he could think it through. I watched police approach addressing him as Miss Liu. I heard them say he was suspected of multiple crimes. I listened as they asked him to come with them. I deliberately asked the system to let my soul linger a few days. I wanted only to see Lee Ryan's downfall. I knew had never dreamed. I was the one who exposed. I revealed all his hidden identities. I made public all his criminal evidence. I knew he played me for a fool. I decided to repay him in kind. I chose an eye for an eye. I saw him in the police station. I watched him locked in an interrogation room. I noticed he still tried to resist. I saw the police present even more detailed evidence. I watched Lee Ryan unable to even argue. I saw the system materialize beside me, seeking praise. I heard it ask if the evidence it gathered was thorough. I smiled and praised it as excellent. I told it was the best system I'd ever seen. I saw the system blush. I noticed the system seemed quite shy. I thought it was far more likable than Lee Ryan. I saw that despite the irrefutable evidence, I observed Lee Ryan still refused to give up. I watched him pull strings and make excuses. I learned he finally secured a chance to meet Fang Yu. I noted that in just a few days, I saw dark circles under Lee Ryan's eyes. I observed his long hair in disarray. I thought he looked utterly disheveled. I heard his voice tremble with urgency. I sensed he clung to Fang Yu like a drowning man to a lifeline. I heard him plead with Fang Yu, saying only he could help him now. I listened as he urged Fang Yu to rally his fans to speak for him. I heard him promise that once he cleared his name, I learned he'd give Fang Yu more resources. I heard Fang Yu exclaim that Lee Ryan must be mad. I realized he wanted to drag Fang Yu down with him. I saw Fang Yu's face twist with disgust. I watched Lee Ryan's excitement turn to dismay. I saw Fang Yu pull a divorce agreement from his bag. I noticed the large glaring words divorce agreement. I heard him say he came to divorce Lee Ryan. I listened as he said Lee Ryan loved him so much. I heard him claim Lee Ryan wouldn't want him to go to prison. I watched the drama unfold with the system eating metaphorical popcorn. I heard the system address me as Ho. I learned Fang Yu had agreed to marry Bai Ningbing. I knew Bai Ningbing. I discovered she promised to cover Fang Yu's contract termination fees. I felt intrigued. I raised an eyebrow thinking it made sense. I noted he didn't even care about his biological parents. I reflected that couples are like birds of the same forest. I thought when disaster strikes they fly apart. I realized Lee Ryan never expected Fang Yu to be so ruthless. I saw Lee Ryan's eyes burn red with anger. I heard him shout Fang Yu's name. I listened as he demanded how Fang Yu could forget who elevated him to his current status. I saw Fang Yu lazily yawn. I heard him claim he reached his position through his own efforts. I listened as he said he climbed step by step with his own strength. I heard him dismiss Lee Ryan's contributions as mere embellishments. I heard Lee Ryan ask how Fang Yu could turn his back on him. I sensed Lee Ryan was furious. I watched him struggle desperately, but remain tightly restrained. I saw him bound to the chair. I observed Fang Yu casually pat Lee Ryan's face. I heard him order Lee Ryan to sign the agreement obediently. I listened as he warned him not to cause trouble. I heard him threaten that otherwise Lee Ryan might face the death penalty. I watched Fang Yu turn and leave without hesitation. I sensed Lee Ryan was so enraged by Fang Yu. I saw him in a fit of fury. I watched him spit out a mouthful of blood. I felt a chill. I feared the blood might splatter on me. I relaxed, realizing I was just a soul. I felt no pity in my heart. I saw another woman enter. I watched her hand a phone to Lee Ryan. I noticed Lee Ryan's face grow even paler. I heard the woman smile and say it didn't matter who she was. I listened as she said it was my phone. I heard her tell Miss Liu to open it for a surprise. I saw Lee Ryan's trembling hands take the phone. I asked the system what was happening. I saw the system scratch its head. I noticed its guilty expression. I heard it admit it acted on its own. I listened as it said it was also. I learned it wanted to make Lee Ryan, that scum, feel more pain. I heard it ask if he regretted it. I learned that if Lee Ryan's progress reached full, I was told I wouldn't need to continue the task. I heard I could be revived. I learned I could also receive a reward. I pursed my lips. I ultimately gave my silent approval. I knew a locked memo couldn't stop a top hacker. I watched Lee Ryan open my memo document. I read that they all looked down on Lee Ryan. I saw they called him a flower vase. I wrote that I thought he was fine. I noted I liked his gentle and caring nature. I recorded that today was my birthday. I called Lee Ryan foolish. I wrote he worked a month. I noted it was just to give me a 3,000 yuan bouquet. I wondered what a grown man like me needed flowers for. I saw his watery eyes. I admitted I couldn't bear to refuse. I confessed I might truly be falling for him. I recorded teaching a few ignorant fools a lesson. I wrote they dared to bully my person in front of me. I declared my wife was under my protection. I vowed even if she was a flower vase. I swore I'd ensure her happiness for life. I noted my parents asked if I wanted a divorce. I wrote I refused. I declared my decision. I stated no matter what others said. I affirmed Lee Ryan was my chosen wife. I heard the sound of tears falling. I saw tears drip onto the phone screen. I noticed unbeknownst to him, I saw Lee Ryan already sobbing. I closed my eyes. I thought if Lee Ryan hadn't hidden his identity, I reflected he deceived and broke my heart. I believed I would have spent my life with him. I lamented that my true feelings were misplaced. I heard the system announce the progress was complete. I saw the system nearly jump with excitement. I gave a genuine smile thinking it was great. I realized I could be reborn addressing myself as Fang Yuan. I heard Lee Ryan cry and confess he knew he was wrong. I listened as he said he had let me down. I heard him still crying beg me to visit him in a dream. I listened as he said I could hit or curse him. I heard him plead just to see me once more. I didn't care at all. I felt no concern for Weatherly Ryan. I wondered if he truly realized his mistakes. I was eager to kick him when he was down. I thought if I told him in a dream, I imagined his face would be priceless. I pictured telling him I exposed his identities and crimes. I heard the system agree instantly. I listened as it promised addressing me as host. I heard it vow to let me enter his dream when he slept. I knew it would help me vent my anger. I saw Lee Ryan go to days without sleep. I noticed he looked even more haggard. I observed his gloomy demeanor. I thought he resembled a vengeful ghost from hell. I saw him use his last influence. I learned he exposed Fang Yu's tax evasion. I saw Fang Yu at a press conference. I watched him distance himself from Lee Ryan. I heard him announce his engagement to Bai Ningbing. I sat below the stage. I watched Fang Yu's tearful performance. I mocked his acting skills with the system. I noted the press conference was live-streamed. I saw online comments pitying Fang Yu. I read they called him a victim of an unscrupulous boss. I saw them support his contract termination. I read they said his integrity wouldn't mix with scum. I saw they claimed he suffered. I read demands to sentence Lee Ryan to death. I saw a jarring comment stand out. I read it told them not to pity Fang Yu. I saw it say his tax evasion evidence was exposed. I shared a knowing smile with the system. I knew the evidence was detailed. I noted it specifically stated Fang Yu evaded taxes. I learned Lee Ryan covered for him. I saw Fang Yu on stage unaware. I watched him fake tears for sympathy. I saw a staff member rush up. I watched them whisper in Fang Yu's ear. I saw Fang Yu stand abruptly. I heard him slam the table shouting what? I listened as he demanded the trending post be removed. I saw his face contort. I noticed the audience gasp. I knew in Fang Yu's 10-year career. I realized this was his first loss of composure. I saw cameras focus on his face. I watched spotlights flash wildly. I saw Fang Yu cover his face in panic. I watched him leave under bodyguard escort. I enjoyed the spectacle leisurely. I suggested to the system to help Lee Ryan. I proposed ensuring Fang Yu couldn't remove the trending post. I heard the system pat my shoulder addressing me as host. I learned Lee Ryan as a top hacker. I was assured the trending post couldn't be removed. I felt relieved hearing this. I followed Fang Yu with the system. I saw he still tried to destroy the tax evasion evidence. I heard him curse Lee Ryan. I listened as he said Lee Ryan claimed to love him, but betrayed him. I heard him vow to take Lee Ryan down with him. I mocked at a woman's words. I called them deceitful lies. I laughed hearing him curse Lee Ryan through gritted teeth. I reflected on Fang Yu using Lee Ryan's power. I wondered if he ever thought it would backfire. I saw before he could destroy all evidence. I watched the tax authorities confront him. I asked the system if Fang Yu destroying some evidence. I inquired if it would affect his conviction. I saw the system reassure me. I learned Li Ryan. I discovered he had already secretly given all evidence. I knew it was to the tax authorities. I heard Fang Yu's destruction was futile. I raised an eyebrow. I imagined Fang Yu's fury learning his efforts were in vain. I pictured him livid. I saw him try to seek Bai Ningbing's help. I watched Bai Ningbing abandon him without hesitation. I heard Fang Yu curse furiously. I listened as he said no woman was trustworthy. I heard him call them all unreliable. I watched coldly with the system. I saw him curse for a long time. I noticed him collapse from exhaustion. I saw it was to no avail. I watched him clench his fists. I saw venomous light flash in his eyes cursing Li Ryan. I heard him say if he was going down, Li Ryan wouldn't escape. I heard him shout for someone. I listened as he said head report Li Ryan for hacking. I watched Li Ryan and Fang Yu tear each other apart. I saw Li Ryan convicted and sentenced to death. I learned Fang Yu got 7 years in prison. I heard he had to pay 800 million in back taxes. I saw on the day of the verdict. I watched Fang Yu lose his mind. I saw him go completely insane. I heard him repeat he was the Fang family's true son. I listened as he called himself the real heir. I heard him say he regretted it. I listened as he said he wanted to return to the Fang family. I heard him claim my parents wouldn't abandon him. I watched him rant quietly. I thought he forgot he bankrupted the Fang family. I recalled he caused my parents' deaths. I knew he was long homeless. I visited the cemetery that day. I stood before my parents' graves. I softly asked if they'd blame me for Fang Yu's fate. I felt a sudden embrace. I heard my mother's gentle voice again calling me Fang Yuan. I listened as she said they didn't blame me. I heard her say Fang Yu's fate was his own doing. I saw my father shake his head and sigh. I heard him say this life's grudges were settled. I listened as he said they owed Fang Yu nothing. I realized for the first time, I discovered even souls could cry. I felt my mother gently wipe my tears calling me Fang Yuan. I heard her say it was time for them to go. I listened as she said I didn't belong to this world. I heard her hope would be true family in the next life. I saw my father nod and smile at me. I felt a breeze blow through. I watched their figures fade into the wine. I stood alone, tears streaming down my face. I saw the system at a loss. I heard it comfort me addressing me as host not to be too sad. I learned completing the task came with a reward. I was told I could make any request. I felt my eyes light up. I recalled being an orphan in my past life. I remembered binding to the system after dying in a car accident. I knew I craved the warmth of family. I asked the system if after rebirth, I could truly become family with them. I heard the system pat its chest saying it was possible. I listened as it promised addressing me as host. I smiled faintly. I felt warmth flood my heart. I noted only Li Ryan remained. I entered his dream the day before his execution. I saw Li Ryan's eyes light up upon seeing me. I heard him exclaim calling me Fang Yuan. I listened as he said I finally agreed to see him. I felt him grab my hand. I saw his eyes redden involuntarily. I heard him say addressing me as Fang Yuan he only now realized. I listened as he said I was the only one who truly cared for him. I heard him say he didn't expect my forgiveness this life. I listened as he hoped for a chance in the next. I heard him ask to pursue me again. I felt utterly speechless. I vowed never to meet him in the next life. I recalled he deceived me thoroughly. I remembered he caused my family's ruin. I shook off his hand. I told him I came only to inform him. I revealed I exposed his identities and crimes. I saw Li Ryan clutch his chest. I noticed he looked deeply shocked. I heard him ask what I meant. I listened as he said it was impossible. I sneered that he wasn't the only one with hidden identities. I declared I had them too, but had never know. I waved my hand. I watched the dream dissolve. I saw Li Ryan wake in a panic. I heard him search for me calling Fang Yuan. I ignored him. I instructed the system. I demanded never to meet him in the next life. I saw the system nod obediently. I heard it agree. I noted until the day before his execution. I saw Li Ryan still, muttering my name. I heard with a gunshot. I knew everything settled. I gave Lee Ryan's unseeing corpse one last look. I met his lifeless eyes. I turned without hesitation. I stepped into the system's open time portal. I heard the system bid me farewell, addressing me as host. I listened as it wished me. I heard it hope for a happy, fulfilling life in the new world.